Hey guys, Ken Smith Fishing, and we're laughing because I can't pronounce a word. So I've got Brian here with Seaguar. Brian knows kind of all there is to know about fluorocarbon line, and I've been talking to him for 40 minutes already, talking about what I wanted to talk about today. So you guys know I go super geek on some of this stuff, and Seaguar has been a great partner with me for the last several years. But as Brian and I have talked, I've really always used Invizx. Now, last year I screwed up and bought Tatsu, and now I love that line. But there's so many other lines that they make. I wanted to talk a little bit to somebody who understands the difference, and also talk a little bit about why, well, first off, how we got in the line business, right?
Mhm.
But then kind of what's been developing. I know with ICAST, some new products coming. So you guys invented fluorocarbon line, right?
Correct. Yes. Yeah. So we invented fluorocarbon fishing line back in 1971. So this is our 50th year of being in business selling fluorocarbon fishing line. So that's a huge milestone period. But in the fishing industry, that's, very few people have hit that.
And so it's not Seaguar that invented it, right? It's your parent company.
Correct. Crayha.
Crayha. That's the word I couldn't pronounce, guy. I'm gonna make him say it since I couldn't pronounce it.
Crayha. Yes.
So a Japanese, basically chemical company.
Correct.
Talk about how the rumor mill says how the line it got developed as it was developed for other things, I'm sure, but how it became an application to make as a way to make fishing line.
Yeah, so the chemist that was working on it, as the story goes, or how I've been told, was an avid angler, avid fisherman, and figured out there were properties of this fluorocarbon that could be extruded and made into fishing line, which would offer benefits as far as being less visible underwater, more abrasion resistant, better impact strength, all the things, the characteristics that we like in fluorocarbon. So that's how the fluorocarbon line was invented.
And it's interesting. So I started tournament fishing hard in the mid 80s, and there was no such thing as fluorocarbon in the United States.
Correct.
So it really didn't get to the US. Gosh, I would say maybe till 99, 2000, early 2000s. Does that sound right?
Exactly. There was an importer, I believe he was in South Florida, that was importing the fishing line from Crayha and selling it. And then at some point, I guess Crayha discovered that, we could really be selling this product. And that's when they launched it in the US market as, Seaguar fishing line.
So by the way, so we're only going to talk about freshwater line today, and we're only going to talk about fluorocarbon. Now, you guys know I used the Seaguar braid as well, but you guys have a very big offering in the saltwater marketplace as well.
Absolutely. And at one point we were more well known for the saltwater market and saltwater leader material. But yes, we do offer a full lineup of performance fishing lines for freshwater and saltwater applications, both fluorocarbon and braided line.
Yeah, the first time I saw a massive spool of line was on a saltwater boat. This guy, spooling, I don't know how many yards you can put on one of those giant reels, but that's exactly where I saw it the first time.
Yeah, you can put a lot, and it depends on what you're doing.
All right, so the raw material to make fluorocarbon line is PVDF, right?
That is correct.
How many companies manufacture that product?
So there are 3 major companies that are the primary producers of the raw PVDF materials.
Okay.
And we are the only company that produces the raw material and has the ability to produce the raw material and design it exclusively for fishing line and extrude it into fishing line. There's no other company in the fishing industry that does that. They have to purchase their fluorocarbon resins from one of the other 2 producers of the resin. And then once they purchase it, they don't have any control over what they purchase. It's just the raw material. What they get is what they get. And then they have to extrude it themselves. And we have the ability to produce our own raw material, and then exclusively design it for whatever fishing application desire, whatever attributes we want that fishing line to have. And that is why we have so many different types of fluorocarbon main lines.
And so what you just said to me is you're the only manufacturer of PVDF that makes fishing lines themselves. So you have the best quality control of the actual underlying resin.
Correct.
All right. And we don't manufacture, we being corporate, we Seaguar all of a sudden, we don't manufacture line for one of our big competitive line companies either.
That's correct. We don't sell our materials to anybody.
What else does the company use the PVDF for?
So there's a lot of things that they use that material for. The biggest thing is batteries. It's an insulator in batteries, such as your cell phone, or such as car batteries, pipes, insulation for pipes. There's a whole laundry list of things that they use this materials for.
I asked that question because a little birdie told me that it's hard to get right now in some scenarios.
That's what we're hearing. And fortunate for us, we produce our own material, so we're not as concerned about it. But the raw PVDF material is used in batteries, specifically lithium ion batteries, being used in the automobile industry for electric vehicles. We all know there's a huge push for electric vehicles and a need for those batteries. So the other two major producers of the PVDF fibers are selling the materials to the automobile industry. So it is leaving a shortfall of materials available to the rest of the fishing industry.
Sounds like to me, fluorocarbon fishing line may get more expensive.
Yes, everything's getting expensive, but I would anticipate yes. Okay,
so let's talk about that. So historically speaking, for sort of from least expensive to most expensive in Seaguar's lineup is Red Label, Invizx, Abrazx, Tatsu.
That is correct.
But starting early next year, there'll be Basix.
That is correct.
Basix. Am I saying that right?
That's correct. Basix.
Okay. So that's going to be a very inexpensive. There you go, right there. You actually have some. Nobody else has any.
Yes, that's one of the benefits.
So that's
this is actually under the Seaguar sub-brand, Seaguar 101. And this product, like you said, it's 100% fluorocarbon. So it's 100% genuine Seaguar fluorocarbon. So you get the great products that we produce, but it's at a budget-friendly price point of $9.99 for roughly 200 yards. So that is enough to fill up a spinning reel or a bait casting reel. And this line will work perfectly for either of those applications.
Okay, so Basix will be out early next year. Now, a couple of things that I think most of us don't understand in this world. First off, whether you spend $9.99 for Basix or $49.99 for Tatsu, it's the same level of visibility or invisibility underwater, right?
For us, yes, because all of our products are 100% fluorocarbon. So it doesn't matter if you spend $9.99 or $49.99. They're all going to be virtually invisible underwater. Now, there's some companies that use, say, a combination of fluorocarbon and other materials. And when you do a mixture of the other materials in there, the other materials aren't as invisible as fluorocarbon. So it's really not a true fluorocarbon product.
Okay. So if you say it's 100% fluorocarbon, it better be 100% fluorocarbon.
Correct.
Now, we also talked beforehand, and this is something that confuses me. I ask you if there is a industry standard to say if my line A and line B, brand A and brand B both say it's 15-pound line, that there's no industry standard of a machine that tests the break strength at 15 pounds.
I would say different manufacturers will call their 15-pound test different things. The break strength of the line, I mean, it can break at 15-pound test line, or a 15-pound line could break at 15, or it could break at 20. Some manufacturers just choose to call line that breaks at 20 15. And many cases, if you actually take the time and look at the diameter of it, you will discover that it's much thicker than other 15-pound test line.
So that's what I was driving at here. You said to me earlier that in much of the world, nobody talks about tensile strength or break strength.
Correct. It's all diameter.
It's all diameter.
It's all diameter. And that is really the only way to gauge the strength of a line and have it apples to apples comparison between, brand A and brand B.
Okay. So like, for example, all of our lines other than our leader lines or all of our freshwater lines, 15-pound line is 0.33 millimeters.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So when you're shopping for fluorocarbon line, whether it's ours or somebody else's, that's what, and actually in comparison shopping, that's what you'd be looking at. If one's 33 and one's 36.36, then you're getting a thinner line with probably similar break strength in the 33 as in the 36.
Yes. Okay. And you should also be aware of the diameter when you're filling a reel, because sometimes, if you're used to using another brand line and then you start using a line from Japan that the diameter is thinner than what you've previously been using, you'll put a lot more line on your reel because of the diameter discrepancy.
Okay, so let's talk about in the fluorocarbon world. Do you get what you pay for?
Yes, I believe that, because if you go buy a car, go buy a dishwasher, a fishing rod, a fishing reel, electronics for your boat, obviously the more you spend, the better you get.
Okay, so talk about why each of those lines, what they're designed to do. And I love the thing, I didn't even notice what you showed me on the packaging earlier, but what they're designed to do and what you get as you move up in that cost arena to the more expensive lines that Seaguar makes.
Certainly, this is great because, like we've discussed, we're the only company that produces our own fluorocarbon resins, specifically for fishing line, therefore giving us the capability to make different types of fishing line for different applications, which is why we have several different kinds, from Basix, like we discussed, being a budget friendly 100% fluorocarbon at $9.99, to Red Label, which is widely popular, and we sell this at a retail price of $14.99. This is, again, it's a 100% fluorocarbon product. It's very strong. It's, tough as nails, but the downfall to it, if I had to say something bad about it, would be it's got a little bit of line memory to it.
Yep.
Which is why on the package, we have a bait casting reel here. So we're saying the intended use for this is on a bait casting reel. Okay. Some people will use it on a spinning reel and are fine with it. Personally, I don't like when I'm using a spinning reel for the line to have memory to it.
Absolutely.
So I would not recommend this on a spinning reel. So if you step up from Red Label, we have Invizx. And to me, this is the product that put fluorocarbon fishing line in the bass fishing market on the spot. This was the first, one of the first fluorocarbons to come out, but this one is much more supple. It's 40% less, has 40% less memory than other fluorocarbons. So this is great for use on a spinning reel or a bait casting reel.
Right.
These two products right here are by far the most popular in the bass fishing world.
Okay.
This is at $14.99, and this is at roughly $19.99 to $24.99, depending on the pound test.
Right.
These are great products. Now we do have other products. So stepping up from Red Label to Invizx, we do offer a braisex, and this is something we were just discussing.
Mm-hmm.
This is again a 100% fluorocarbon product, 100% fluorocarbon product, but it's designed to be more abrasion resistant. So any applications that fishing riprap,
football jig,
football jigs,
Carolina
zebra bustles, just anything that's nasty that there's going to be some abrasion to your line. This is great. one thing people, I guess, have been accustomed to is if you have a fishing line that's very abrasion resistant or like a super tough line or something to that nature, that the line's going to have a lot of memory to it. And that is not the case. This product is actually less memory to it than Invizx and Red Label, but it offers more abrasion resistant. Therefore, it's a better fluorocarbon. And as you see on this packaging, we have the spinning reel and the bait casting reel to indicate its intended use.
So that's interesting. I had always been told that a braisex was tougher, but it had more memory. And you're saying it's in fact exactly the opposite. It's tougher and it has less memory.
That's correct. And
now I got to buy a braisex.
Yeah, I've got people, fishermen are creatures of habits. Absolutely. And, I'm not going to, Keith Combs, for example, he loves Invizx.
That guy can't catch him at all.
He loves it. That's what he's always fished with. Yeah, that's what he's always fished with. And that's just what he loves. And, being humans and creatures of habit, it's hard to get people to change sometimes. But, a braisex does have its place, just like any of our products. There are certain traits of the line, attributes of the line that are better for certain types of fishing or certain applications of fishing, or regions where you're fishing, depending on the water. So that's why we have so many different ones.
So I get same thickness. I get
diameter,
same diameter. Excuse me. Thank you. I get it's just as invisible. It's got less memory and it's tougher to kink, if you will, to have a zebra mussel cut it.
Correct.
Okay.